Spirit of Grace Church is hosting its spring community yard sale on Saturday, June 6th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., rain or shine. The event creates an opportunity for community members to sell gently used items, shop for unique treasures, and connect with neighbors in a welcoming environment. And all proceeds from the event will support the church's food ministries and outreach efforts in the community. Joyce Partyka Staib joins us on the Splash Live to tell us more about this year's event. Joyce, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course. I mean, we love hearing about these yard sales. We love hearing about these events to really bring the community together. What can you tell us about this year's spring community yard sale?
So this year we are excited to welcome back the Taco Truck Food Hub, or Taco Hub Food Truck. They've been with us for 2 years now, and we have just absolutely loved having them as a part of our yard sale. So if nothing else brings you to the church, come get some great food. But on that day, we will have vendors set up. Some people are selling jewelry that they've created. Some people are taking time to clean their houses of the treasures that they no longer need so that other people can have use of those. We will have a bake sale that will also help support the feeding ministries that we have at the church. So there promises to be a lot of great things there.
Sounds like it. You certainly already have my attention with all the great resources that are going to be available at this event. Now, you've been doing these yard sales for a few years now, Joyce. How have you seen them grow or evolve since they first began?
So I have been at Spirit of Grace Church for 3 years now as their pastor. When I first got there, what they were doing was a junk in the trunk sale. So they were using our parking lot and people would bring their cars. But what we found is that was in the back of the parking lot and you couldn't really see what was going on. And so we've moved things up to the front so you can see right off of Orchard Lake Road what's happening at the church. I think the number of vendors that we've had and the different things that we've had have grown over the years. We do have some things that are consistent. But at the same time, I think we've just branched out into the community a little more. A lot of people have brought some new and interesting things to sell.
Exactly. I mean, you stop by events like these, maybe you're like, oh, I'm just going to walk through. I'm not really looking for anything crazy. And then you see that one item that you already know you can't live without it. It's got to be in your home. I mean, that's what makes these events so great. Now, a lot of people put on yard sales, especially around a time of year like this one, spring cleaning and whatnot. What makes this yard sale different from a traditional neighborhood sale?
Well, I think this yard sale, first of all, goes to a great cause. The money that is made from renting tables, from the table that the church sets up itself, helps to feed our Christmas dinner, helps to put food in our blessing box that's available 24 hours a day. It helps to make sure that the backpacks that we give to kids at the beginning of the school year are supplied with what their needs are, and a lot of the different ministries that we do around the church. So it's not a yard sale where the money is going to who knows what. You know that this money that is spent goes back into the community. The other thing that I like about a yard sale like this is that I might not get a lot of people in my home if I have it in a neighborhood somewhere that's kind of hidden away. But here you've got the attraction of there are multiple tables that you can visit, that it's not just one kind of thing. And then it also offers a level of safety. I don't have to let people know where I live or what my address is. I can bring my things to the church and know that it's a public space and nobody's going to know anything else about me other than what I bring that day.
And that's what makes this truly amazing. All of these proceeds going back to helping the church. And it sounds like that it's truly the work of events like this one that really helps set the stage and really keep the church, it really keeps that momentum going for throughout the rest of the year. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we host 2 of these a year. And I think part of it too is that we know that people clean out their houses at different times, but that those ministries that we can continue to do are really funded by these things. And sometimes over the summer or even at the yard sale, we'll have a conversation with a community member who says, I've been looking for this thing. And what we found out is that sometimes those tend to be patterns. And so sometimes we change the plan of ministry or shift things to meet the needs of the community members that we find out at these yard sales.
That's amazing. So we definitely want to be seeing as many people as possible stopping by to this yard sale. Now, for people who may have never stopped by Spirit of Grace Church's yard sales before, what kinds of events are typically available for shoppers to find during the event when you sift through all the vendors that are there?
So there's always a bunch of books at the Spirit of Grace table. And what I love about those is they range from children's books, and some of them are some of the favorites from when I was growing up. And so I've loved having a chance to share those things with my son. We have someone who comes and sells jewelry every year. We've had a chiropractor rent a table just so that he can get his business out and start talking about how he can help people in the community. And oftentimes, if businesses set up tables, they will have a coupon or some kind of discounted offer for when you make appointments with them in the future. And it's just great getting neighbors together. That is one of my favorite things about it.
So it sounds like with an event like this, it's not just people selling off some of their items, but in some cases, it's people more in a sense of selling themselves, selling their services and selling what they offer to the community. Is that right?
Absolutely. We've had crafters. And like I said, we've had chiropractors' offices. And it's a great chance, too, to see what resources the church has that might fit the needs that you are looking for. And so we have a lot of feeding ministries. We have a diabetic food pantry. We have a blessing box that's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We do our Christmas dinner, and we do food boxes for different holidays in connection with the school. And so I think it's really just a chance to maybe even get connected and see where you fit in that picture.
For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Pastor Joyce Partyka Staib from the Spirit of Grace Church in West Bloomfield, talking about the Spring Community Yard Sale that's going to be taking place on Saturday, June 6th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Now, Joyce, let's backtrack a little bit. Let's go back to talking, explain to me a bit more, how does this event help bring together families, neighbors, local businesses, bringing together everybody within the community?
At yard sales, there's always something for everyone. I think there's not a particular product that I can say this was always a big seller, this is always a big seller. But I think the fun thing is you don't ever know what you're going to find at a yard sale. And so sometimes I've seen people buy things and say, I'm going to take them home and make this out of it. Or this is exactly what I was looking for. And in the world we're living in where prices are increasing everywhere, it's nice to find things that I may not be able to need and use in my home, but that would be helpful for someone else. And so I think that is a great thing about this is that it gives that opportunity. And then the other thing is with the Taco Hub food truck, we always have tables set up. And so meeting new people is an opportunity there, but also just having the community come together to share in food and fellowship and just help each other explore. And I've seen connections being made. You know, this person needs this product and it's not out at the yard sale, but this person's holding on to it. And the ways that the community has come together to help each other out at these events, I think has just been a huge kind of unintended consequence, I guess.
I mean, it's beautiful to see, and like you said, there's so many benefits to stopping by. You're certainly right about the increase of prices that we seem to be seeing everywhere you look, so there's going to be some great deals at an event like this. And can you talk about maybe the importance of giving gently used items a second life through yard sales like this one?
I think we have a lot of families who are experiencing that time where, like, for my son in particular, last summer, at the end of summer, he was outgrowing his bicycle. And we knew that we needed a new one, but I also didn't know how much he would grow before this summer. And so we were able to find a bicycle for $10 instead of spending the $50. He loved it. He used it. He's still using it this summer. And I think to give that new life to someone who might not otherwise have that, or to help someone save a couple dollars so that they can spend it somewhere else, I think is just a great opportunity. And I think too, we've got so much in our households. And so to share those things that we're not using for someone who might desperately need that item is just an important part of giving and giving generously.
I mean, it's the old saying, one man's trash is another person's treasure. Not that these items are necessarily trash, but that they give new value and that they have new purpose with somebody different. Joyce, I got a couple more questions before we wrap things up. As the years have gone on, what has the community feedback been like from these yard sales with Spirit of Grace Church?
These yard sales keep growing, so the feedback has just been great. You know, finding items that I didn't know I needed, or just coming together and running into people or making connections that they never expected to make at the church has been part of the best feedback that we've gotten. I love that we also have gifts and talents that are shared. So at the bake sale, you will see some items that are made by some fabulous bakers, and they have this decorating capability that I just personally don't have in my fingertips. And so I think people get fed, they get nourished, they get to see and make connections and build relationships. And I think that is the best part of the feedback that I've received.
I mean, you walk away with so much when you stop by an event, yard sales like this one. Hope to see the community really come out and support the church during that time. Last question, Joyce, what would you say to somebody considering reserving a table or attending for the very first time?
I think you will always find some interesting items. I think if you're thinking about it, just jump in. It doesn't cost that much. It's $20 to a good cause, or if you bring your own table, 10. One of the things that I failed to mention is that we have had a fundraiser going for our youth group, and our youth group will be at the yard sale. That fundraiser is flocking, so you can pay the church to bring a set of flamingos to a friend's yard and just bring a little bit of joy. But I think if you're just thinking about it, either checking it out or renting a table or renting a spot, things like that can bring just a little bit of joy in a world that seems to not have so much of that readily available, jump in. Take the risk of bringing happiness to someone else's life.
Bringing happiness to somebody else's life. That's what you can do with this yard sale. Once again, it's taking place on Saturday, June 6th at Spirit of Grace Church. Joyce, thank you so much for joining us today here on The Splash Live.
Thanks for having me. Hope to see you at the yard sale.